tomorrow morning. I hate criminality. I can't stand it. I said before, no banks should be touched, no church, no mosque, no business person should be touched. No business person should be touched. None should be touched. We know who our enemies are. Not these people struggling to feed their families. What type of nonsense is that? We cannot touch people who have done nothing to us. That is not how we roll. Do not touch people doing their legitimate businesses, regardless of where they come from. You cannot touch them. Please. So when something happens, we can investigate very quickly and find out. If not that we know who we are, do you think we would have found out that it was Monguno and Britain that killed Ahmed Gulak, you know what, to make it appear as if it is IPOB, so they can start killing our people? You don't understand that? We cannot give our enemies room to demonize what we are doing. That is why we cannot condone any criminal act. We cannot. And by tomorrow, we are going to repair a full lorry load of onions. Money we could have used to do more important things, we are now going to spend compensating the owner of those onions that some fools vandalized.
Indigenous people of Biafra, we are IPOB under one central command, under one leadership, under one directorate, under one coordination all over the world. There is only one indigenous people of Biafra. We are aware now. They want to establish fake groups. They want to deceive you. They want to cheat you. Some idiots may answer IPOB, but you must understand they're not one of us. It is the same thing as Boko Haram wearing police and army uniform to go and kill people. These people are not part of us and can never ever be. How will the products of APC? These are evil men and little boys. We must counter them wherever we see them. They are not IPOB. We have no government. The government of the indigenous people of Biafra is the indigenous people of Biafra. So when the time comes, Biafrans will vote and decide who will govern them. Until then, we are not a government. We are servants of the people, as we shall continually demonstrate. Allow me to repeat what I said before. We are not a government, I tell you. I must warn and caution you. We are the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. There is no government, there is no addition. Of course, we have an embassy, that is true. That embassy is not an organization. We don't run any other website apart from IPOB.org. We don't have any other radio station on this earth apart from Radio Biafra. I'm aware that Awasa set up with APC, they set up 1 or 2 radio stations to answer our name as part of their subterfuge and ocean provocateur. But they will not prevail, they will not succeed, they cannot survive the heat because we are ordained, baptized in this very fire of truth and honesty. That is why we preach it without compromise. There is no other way to do it. We are the children of light. That is why we have come. Or should I say, that is why Chukukika Biama determined that we should come. That is why this evening, as always, we must preach his gospel. No particular. We must preach it to the fullest. Only those who are blessed can partake or participate. Only those that seek knowledge. Only those that seek the light. Only those that seek the truth. The seekers of wisdom, the seekers of knowledge are welcome to partake and participate. Or else you are a non-entity. You will only Here we assemble the children of the Most High.
And I will repeat what I said. I have said it before and I will repeat what I said. If we engage in killing, Biafra will not come. That is one cardinal thing you don't do in Biafra. Go and ask anybody. Anytime you shed an Igbo blood, you kill a fellow Biafran, anything you're looking for will not come. Go and ask all of them. Starting from the death of Mbono Ojike. People don't know how Mbono Ojike died. The man responsible for the death of Mbono Ojike, where is he? Everything he asked for, he got nothing from. I have said it before and I will repeat what I said. If we engage in killing, Biafra will not come. That is one cardinal thing you don't do in Biafra. Go and ask anybody. Anytime you shed an Igbo blood, you kill a fellow Biafran, anything you're looking for will not come. Go and ask all of them. Starting from the death of Mbono Ojike. People don't know how Mbono Ojike died. The man responsible for the death of Mbono Ojike, where is he? Everything he asked for, he got nothing from.
All right, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, great and wonderful people of Biafra, lovers of freedom all over the world. I greet you according to your time zone. While you are joining, share this video, invite others to join. While you are joining, share the video, invite others to join, and we are live and we are direct. It is actually, I believe, 25 minutes before the top of the hour. Oh no, 36 minutes before the top of the hour. So I know that our First Lady will be joining us soon on the media space. She will be actually coming to address Biafrans all over the world in the next 35 minutes. So stay tuned for that broadcast. It is very, very important. And secondly, while we are waiting for our First Lady, we need to address some certain issues. You know, this issue, there is a video I came across. I am not actually going to, I will not be taking much of your time, and I don't want to stretch this broadcast because we only have 35 minutes. But I want us to actually go into a video that I actually came across where a man in Biafra land was talking about how he raped a child. There was an interrogation happening there, and then the man was actually saying many things with regards to how he raped the child. If you look at the poster right in front of this video, you will see that image of such man, because we don't tolerate evil, we don't actually condone evil, because that is the desecration of Biafra land, and whoever that actually dealt with that case did not deal with that case the way it should be dealt with. That is the reason why I am going to be bringing it out here, for us to actually think about it and talk about it, because this cannot actually happen in Biafra land. While you are joining us, share the video. Are you on YouTube? Share the video, like the video. Are you on Facebook? Like the video, share the video, and invite others to join. Of course, you will see also the image of Asari Dokubo in front of the image that is beginning of this video. That image is actually where Asari Dokubo is actually, where he continued to threaten the Igbo race. And it has been out there, and the DSS and every other person, they are not saying anything about it anymore. Or in fact, they never said anything about it. But the traditional ruler who just threatened or made a sentiment about Lagos State, that traditional ruler, about bringing Eastern Security Network to Lagos State, I believe that traditional ruler is still in the shackle of the DSS because he just become emotional, because that is being emotional. He never ever promoted Eastern Security Network. He never promoted what we are doing. But when people started actually destroying their businesses in the Lagos State during the time of election, he actually remembered that there are these people who fight crime diligently. There are these people who stop evil diligently. There are these people who is uncompromisable, and they are able to fight every challenges that the people of Biafra are facing. And that is the reason why he remembered to speak the truth, and he remembered to call, to use these people that the enemy of Biafra fear the most, to threaten the situation that was damaging their properties and their livelihood in Lagos. The man is still in the DSS captivity. But Asari Dokubo can say anything, can do anything, and get away with it because he is Asari Dokubo, because he is, the leader of a terrorist organization. He is a leader of a terrorist organization. Because if you look at the type of man Asari Dokubo has been, Asari Dokubo is a type of person that he told the federal government that they can never arrest him. Asari Dokubo said to federal government, you can never arrest me. If you arrest me, he will blow every pipeline. Asari Dokubo threatened the government in that regard. Of course, many of you must have forgotten. That is how Asari Dokubo rolled. In 2015, he did. That they never born anybody who will arrest him. And after doing that, he get away with it. Because Asari Dokubo is bigger than the government. That's why he can come up online, threaten anybody, brandish his gun, his weapon of, terrorism, brandish it in the media space, threaten the Igbos, and at the end of the day, he get away with it. But only that this man made a sentiment, I will invite Eastern Security Network. The man that was making a sentiment, I will invite Eastern Security Network to come and fight for us in Lagos. The man does not even know who is Eastern Security Network. The man has never been a supporter of Eastern Security Network. He just used Eastern Security Network because that is the only formidable group he knows that is actually fighting for the rescue of the Biafrans. The same man is still in the DSS dungeon, I can imagine. And Asari Dokubo is still there, threatening the Igbos. Threatening the Igbos. It is very, very, it is very, very horrible. That is the type of one Nigeria you will always tell me to belong to. That is the reason why we can never belong to one Nigeria, because it does not exist. One Nigeria is a sham. One Nigeria is a scam. One Nigeria is a symbiotic relationship. And this symbiotic relationship, who is this, parasite? Who is this parasite? And the parasite is the Britain. Not even anybody that is part of this one Nigeria. The Britain, and using their managers, the politicians, those are the people who are the parasite into this symbiotic relationship we are having with Britain and this one Nigeria. Because the managers are the ones who are getting paid. Those that are actually the employees, they are not getting paid. That is free labor that we are still giving to the Britain. A free labor. The same free labor they did during the time of slavery. They took our people, they went and actually forced them into a free labor. They did free labor, build Europe, build America. Everywhere is now built. They become the first world country. These same people, they have never come up to negotiate how they are going to compensate them but they claim that slave time is over. The same thing they are doing in Africa, the same thing Macron is doing in Africa, the same thing Britain is doing in Africa, the same thing Belgium is doing in Africa, the same thing many of them are doing, the US are doing in Africa. All these people, they are the parasite on us, and we are giving them a free labor. Because if you think about it, what mostly that you are using this to navigate this, which is your tax, which is your hard work, which is your contribution towards the economy of that one Nigeria. At the end of the day, the real oil that is supposed to, the real, natural resources that is supposed to be what will generate income and the GDP and economic stability, that it may favor everybody that is dwell or domicile or part of Nigeria. It is where they exploit the most. Then you have to still work hard. Bring what you have, put into the economy. At the end of the day, you get nothing out of it. It might not be paining you because you are not bleeding. That is the reason why it becomes symbiotic. You are not bleeding. It is not paining you the way like physical pain, but they are doing emotional, psychological pain, inflicting it on you. Because that time you will buy a petrol more than 500 naira per liter. Is it not painful? Where it pains is the heart. It does not pain you, physical. It does not give you a physical pain. It will always give you a psychological pain. Because now you will be stressed. If I buy petrol this amount, how much am I going to make? And at the end of this, will I be able to buy food for my children? Will I be able to buy food for the family? What exactly am I going to do next? How will I navigate this situation? It is a painful stuff. That is the reason why it becomes a symbiotic relationship, because a mosquito, when it's biting you, you might not feel that strong pain, but the after effect is the pain thereof. And that is exactly the reason why we can no longer take it anymore. We say that we will no longer want Nigeria. And ever since we say we will no longer want Nigeria, you begin to see the enemy doing everything humanly possible to make sure that they destroy everything that we have actually, we are doing or putting in place to secure the life of our people and the life of everybody who will hearken to the voice of freedom in that sub-Saharan area called Nigeria. Because disintegration of Nigeria is a freedom of black man who is domiciled in that place. Because if the Nigeria is disintegrated, you will no longer find our people going through Tunisia, going through Cairo, going through Libya, going through a desert and getting roasted in desert, getting dehydrated to death in desert, and no one will bury them, and the vulture will eat their meat if there is, or the sun will dry them up. These are our people. It is as a result of the symbiotic relationship we have with those who manage Nigeria. Because those who have no opportunity, those who have lost hope of living in Nigeria, they say it is better they die while trying to make it to greener pasture instead of living in Nigeria and dying hungry. That is exactly the reason why you find our people going to cross Mediterranean Sea, going to walk through this desert just to get to Europe. That is alone a big insult to the faces of these African leaders. What is the reason why they are running? Nigeria leaders. Nigeria status quo. That is when you begin to question the status quo of Nigeria. How can a person who is living decide to go through a desert where there is no water? They drink their piss until they are actually dehydrated and die. How could somebody who wake up from a country, then you will tell them when they talk, they tell you Nigeria is a sovereign nation, and somebody will go out there and they die of dehydration because they are trying to cross Mediterranean Sea. It is as a result of a failed nation. It is as a result of experiment of 1914. It is as a result of the symbiotic relationship that we have with our with the owners of Nigeria. It is as a result of those symbiotic relationship you have with your politicians. Politicians, they use you to make money, and they actually embezzle this money and use it for themselves, send their children abroad. You will see this other woman that was actually charged of embezzling a lot of money. She is from, I think, Biafra land. They are celebrating their children graduating from Harvard University, graduating from good universities in the West, in Canada, in the US, in Europe. They are busy celebrating their children graduating out there, but they will never ever build a good university for your children to go there. And yet you come up to tell us one Nigeria. One Nigeria has never helped you. One Nigeria will only bribe you in order for them to use you at that moment to achieve what they want to achieve. They bribe you through palliative, just like they are trying to bribe you with $800 million they have borrowed. They bribe you through many things. During the time of election, they bribe you just for you to come out there to stand on their behalf, just for them to rig themselves into the office justifiably. That is the reason why they will bribe you. One Nigeria has never done anything that is valid, that is actually, going to be beneficial or profitable to you. Just like you see all this palliative they have hidden in the warehouse. Why do you think when it comes to cash, fiat money that they love the most, they will dish it out, while you see the commission that Soludo was actually addressing them, he made it clear that all these beneficiaries of these palliatives, that some of them are ghosts, some of them doesn't exist. But at the end of the day, these are the things that you benefit from Nigeria. Then you find people in the likes of Asari Dokubo. But before I go to Asari Dokubo, quick one, let me address this.
My name is Simon Victor Ikeke.
What?
My name is Victor Simon Ikeke.
Okay. What happened on Friday?
On Friday, I went to see Madam Etel. I was calling her line. She borrowed me 3,000. I was calling her line and she didn't pick my calls. I went to their house, 35 Ezobula for Street, to see her.
Continue.
When
Speak up.
Okay. When I went there, I saw small children playing in the parlor with 2 adults.
Okay.
All of a sudden, Madam Etel came out, and I tell Madam Etel that I was calling her line and she didn't pick up. That I want her to give me.
I want you to listen to the story of this stupid man. Listen to the story of this stupid man and the man that is actually interrogating him. And if this man that was interrogating this guy just let him go, that guy is equally a criminal. I am telling you the honest truth. Whoever that is interrogating this guy, as a after the evil that he actually did, and at the end of the day he let him go, both of them need to get arrested. But let us continue to see exactly what is going on here.
Account number so that I will pay in instrumentally, like 115, then I will pay the money.
Okay, I want to know why you raped that 4-year-old baby.
Why?
You hear
What's the
that?
intention of raping him? Just tell me the truth.
Yes, I don't have any bad intention
Okay.
towards them because I know them.
I mean the 4-year-old baby.
Yes,
So why did you rape her?
the 4-year-old girl, I know her. I don't have any bad intention.
You don't have any bad intention, but you raped a 4-year-old child. What a desecration of our land. Because this type of evil we cannot condone. We can never condone this type of evil. This is a foreign evil. It will never be tolerated in our land. It is a foreign evil. We are not rapists. We don't rape people. Talk more of a 4-year-old, child, a pedophile. How can you allow a pedophile with HIV positive after raping a child? You were talking about letting him go. Who did this? Who exactly did this? Police should go in and take in this person. If police is not willing to do it because it is happening in Biafra land, because they don't do anything as long as it is affecting Biafrans, then Biafrans, you go and do something about it. We don't want jungle justice on him. We don't want jungle justice on him. We need to take him to the mental asylum. Let them evaluate his brain to see if it is still functional. You need to take him to mental asylum. Listen to what he has to say.
Towards her. When she came to me, I was carrying them, playing with them.
You carried the 4-year-old baby?
Yes, including his brother, with one other child. A small other child is there.
Okay.
They were 3 in number.
Okay.
They all came to me. I was carrying them on my laps. Okay, the first guy left, playing around me. The second girl left, playing around me. So I was the third girl.
Okay.
Were on my laps. Okay. I was playing with her on the bed in the parlor.
Okay.
Mistakenly, my hands touched her private part.
Okay, after then you started making love to her.
I didn't make love to her.
But why is the blood out from there?
Maybe through the touching. I didn't make love.
First of all, you were not making love to her, you were raping her. You were raping her. That is exactly what you need to differentiate from these things. There is a difference between making love and raping someone. The pedophile was raping a 4-year-old child. But the only thing that is confusing here is what you are going to hear next.
So you touched her for how long?
No, just for a while. When she said she wanted to go into the room, I left her.
But she said you took her to the room and you used your private parts to put inside her. She said so.
No, I was inside the room alone. Madam Etel is the one that showed me inside the room. I told her that I'm weak and I needed to rest.
After making love with the girl?
That was
after making love with the girl. Yeah. Just tell me the truth.
Yeah, playing with her.
After making love with the girl, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you were weak. So you need to relax, right?
I was weak before I came in.
Okay, you were weak.
Yes. So I told Madam Etel. She said, will I follow them and do a prayer meeting? Okay. Because it was coming to evening. I said no. She said, okay, let her show me the room.
Okay, now can you tell us your regrets?
Listen.
Tell us your regrets. You get more drink how much? Will you do it next time?
No.
We want you to be free.
Okay.
That's why I'm here.
Wow.
Okay. So will you do such thing again?
No.
Is it good? Tell the public. Tell them. So tell the public. Because this girl is just 4-year-old girl.
Yes.
So tell the public how you feel after doing that. Your remorse.
I feel bad.
Zoo.
And these people is the people I know.
Apart from people you know, you feel bad. People are watching you now.
Okay.
So just tell them what you feel so that other people won't do such thing. Just we need to know.
I feel regret.
Okay. Are you aware that you are HIV positive?
When I got the information.
Are you aware that you are HIV positive?
Now, Let me leave this one here because I don't have much time. I only have 3 minutes to join this thing. Now, I want you to understand what is playing out here. Understand what is playing out here. The young man is HIV positive, but he went and raped a 4-year-old child. And the only thing these people could do is to be asking him, are you aware of you are this, you are that we are going to leave you. We just want to, how do you feel? Tell the public so that we want to set you free. Dude, that's not the way it is done. You cannot set this man free back into the society without taking him through a rehabilitation process or taking him to a mental asylum. He wants to destroy the life of such girl. And that child, I don't know if they have taken the child to a hospital to make sure they treat her so that she will not be infected by the HIV that this wicked, evil pedophile has infected her with. Within 72 hours, I know they will still cure her. Within 72 hours. The most important thing is that this type of people, you let them loose in a society. Tomorrow somebody will come and tell, this is your uncle, greet him. And they will say, this is your uncle, greet him. They will be inside the house playing uncle and brother, and uncle and a child. The child will be playing innocently. The person will be thinking another thing they will do. The same thing, the way it is with with those people, these people who are ndempiawazu, on the kekwan. The same thing, the same way they do their own stuff. Before you will know it, they will introduce your boy. Before you will know it, these pedophiles, they will introduce your children. Maybe you will not even notice because these things, they are not common in our land. Or maybe they even common, you don't notice them. It is a big abomination in our land. Because it is a big abomination for a person to rape a child 4 years old, and you want to reintegrate him into the society without going through a disciplinary process or through a rehabilitation process. Wow, this is the reason why we want our nation, that we will make our law. We will know how to handle every situation, every criminal. We will know how to deal with them, because we cannot tolerate this nonsense. We know that he has a problem. He is sick, need to be treated. We will take him through it. And he will go to jail. He will go to jail. Not less than 25 years imprisonment. Not less than 1 life. Because this type of people, dude, they are a problem to a society. I can assure you. Let me find out if our First Lady is already online. Let's so that we join them, because I don't have time, but I thought I might share this with you because this is very, very, it is touching. This is very, very touching. It affected me so much, and I thought I might actually bring it to you. Our First Lady is online, so we are going to be joining her soon. We are going to be joining her soon. We only have, okay, she's supposed to be online by now. So let me find out. One moment. All right. While we are still waiting, so just as I was saying, this type of people, you see, this type of people, they don't deserve freedom in a society. Believe you me. Whoever that did this, I saw a logo of the TV channel says ABN. Who those people need to be actually, taken, into questioning to make sure that, to find out exactly what happened if this guy was, allowed to just go like that. It is, very dangerous. It is very, very dangerous if you allow to, this type of person to be back in the society. We have issue. We have one more topic before joining our first lady, but she's already here. The issue of what Asari Dokubo said. We are going to, connect to our first lady Lolo Uchechi Okwu Kanu while she is addressing Biafra.
It is, as always, a great pleasure to speak to you, to bring to you the voice and message of freedom and encouragement, message of reasoning and of sound mind. As I say good evening to you from here, good afternoon, and good morning to you, depending on where you are listening from. Without wasting any time, my message today will border around sacrifice, dedication, and loyalty. We know what sacrifice means in this context. I mean where you give up something you value for the sake of other considerations. We know what dedication means, single-mindedness, zeal, commitment, and we know what loyalty means. That is devotion, faithfulness, that is steadfast in the face of any temptation to desert or betray the adherence to a person or a cause. Yesterday I attended the AGM held in Swindon here in the UK with our brothers and sisters. That was over Zoom. I made mention of their tenacity, your dedication and sacrifice. I want to commend you all. I want to specifically appreciate IPOBNs in Biafra land. I don't think I have specially appreciated our brothers and sisters in Biafra land, but today permit me to do that. Without your tenacity in upholding the forefront of this movement in our land, there will be no movement. In essence, what we are fighting for will be established in Biafra land. So your immense contribution to the struggle, both financially and otherwise, especially the principal officers back home who have lost their businesses, lost their homes as a result of their commitment to the struggle. I say well done. And I pray that Chukwu Okike will, because of what we are passing through, the injustice and hatred being meted upon us, will hearken to our cry and give us Biafra. Ise. Please, Biafrans back home, freedom fighting does not entail criminality. I would like to use this very moment to speak on this criminality going on in our land. There is no country gotten under criminality. I don't know if there is any. Please let me know. In fact, there is nothing under the face of a sun gotten under criminality that will ever be sustained, nor stand, nor succeed. IPOB under the leadership of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu does not and have never indulged in terrorism and criminality. So any IPOB member who is involved in any criminal act should know that they are outside of IPOB umbrella. And they are among the principalities and powers against the IPOB movement. When I talk about sacrifice, dedication, and loyalty, you must know that these two now and one of the adjectives are the ingredients that we use to stand against principalities and powers. So if you are fighting in criminality and terrorism, you are outside of IPOB umbrella. And yes, you are not a freedom fighter. The one that breaks my heart is that you do not sit and think about the anguish or the pain that the offsprings of Nnamdi Kanu are going through, where you go and commit heinous crimes. You mention the name of Nnamdi Kanu whilst committing these crimes. Today, you must know that what you're doing, calling Nnamdi Kanu's name whilst you commit heinous crimes, is endangering his life and prolonging his stay. So when you allow someone to use the love you have for Nnamdi Kanu to distract you, to misdirect you, and tell you that they're fighting for Nnamdi Kanu, you are not. Because Nnamdi Kanu has said that he wants Biafra land to remain calm. So if you really love Nnamdi Kanu, what you will do is to listen to him and follow his steps and follow the steps of those whom he has kept to spearhead this movement in his absence. I wonder how someone will believe that diverting trailer loads of rice, fertilizers, and cement, and killing the innocent drivers who will get us Biafra. I don't know who told you that. You are thieving, you're a thief. If that is what you're doing, that is not Biafra that you're fighting for. Kidnapping and killing our people. How will that get us Biafra? If you can lay down the intricacies of how that can get us Biafra, perhaps we might look at it once again. But you need to explain how that would bring us Biafra. Freedom fighters do not raise arms against their own, or the gods of the land, I promise you, will come after you. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has said that in the past, that any time you kill your own, Biafra will not come. Because blood opens the door to a lot of things. And you have to be careful whose blood you're shedding. Please, allow our sisters and brothers, I beg of you, allow our mothers and fathers and children to breathe. We're suffering, we have enough that we're going through under the hands of a Fulani. So you cannot make our home where we should run to for solace hostile. Have you imagined? Have you sat down and imagined? Have you sat down and pondered the hatred Biafrans are going through in Nigeria? Have you wondered what we go through in Nigeria? Our businesses are being destroyed in all parts of Nigeria. The hatred is so dark that to register an Igbo name as an organization is hell. That line of government will shamelessly encourage you to register your business or import your goods with a Yoruba or Hausa name. How dare they? They are working assiduously to systematically extinguish the name Igbo. But these principalities are foolishly supporting the government's agenda by killing our own people and making our environment hostile. This hostility spans through locally and internationally because you don't expect investors to invest in any area where there is hostility and terrorism. Do you people actually think our brothers whom their goods were destroyed and shops demolished in Lagos, Ladipo, Alad, Lalaba International and other parts of the country, they would look towards home, also Trogenama, Irotanolo. They will look towards home, but how do you expect them to come home? How do you expect them to come and invest? Think about that. Therefore, and we will continue to disassociate Nnamdi Kanu's name from the atrocities committed by these principalities. We will, is a promise. We will never stop. What we are doing is unrivaled. What IPOB under Nnamdi Kanu, under the leadership of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is doing is unprecedented in the history of freedom quest or the quest of self-determination. They have never seen a thing like this. They have never seen anything, and a race as special as the Biafrans rising, coming together. Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means? There is a voice in the wilderness now. If you put your ears down, you will hear the Pan-Africanist singing the revolutionary unism of Africa. And IPOB, we must be amongst the protagonists of that very train. We are dedicated, loyal, and have sacrificed so much from deeper parts of our hearts to the deeper parts of our physical endeavors. I would like us to take 1 minute silence to for our fallen heroes, our fallen brothers and sisters. Thank you. I hardly sleep at night as I think about the families left behind by our fallen brothers and sisters. Some of you are not by the side. You don't know what it is to lose your loved ones. There is a difference that now your loved one was ill and then fell. Go to the other side of the world. There is a difference between that and that your brother or your sister fell in the line of duty, in the line of struggle, or just by a straight bullet. That is more painful. Onwike is very painful. So when I think about the families left behind by these brothers and sisters of ours who sacrificed their lives for us to continue in our quest for freedom, I hardly sleep. Some years ago, I started to extend a hand of help to a few widows who lost their husbands in Biafra land in my own little way, just by myself. And I had a plan to help every one of them to start up a business, start up something small to at least help them to feed their children. But then something happened and I stopped working because some of you think I just sit down, I work. Like 5 a.m. I wake up in the cold when it's dark. I work. I drop my little one at school and I zoom off to work. And after work, I pick him from aftercare and we go home, we do things. So I am busy. Or I used to be very, very busy until I became very ill. So I had to stop work. But that project has not changed. I still have in mind to make sure that these women will get something they can start doing. Because I use myself as an example. So imagine the people whose husbands are never, ever going to return home. What is there for them? So as soon as I resume work, that project will resume. As soon as I get well and return to work, I will resume that project. But I want to use this medium to ask us to always extend a hand of help to widows, especially the ones back home. Because even in my pain, I feel the pains of people. Because I am an empath, so I feed off people. I can feel the pains of people. Apart from 1 minute silence that we give to our fallen brothers and sisters, there is another way we can honor our fallen brothers and sisters. Of course, I know that IPOB has been doing their best to look after our own. But I would like individuals to pick up some of these burdens as a weekly offering and monthly tithe and monthly tithe offerings. Let this be your tithe offerings, and God will bless you. But this is who we are anyway. We look after our own. We help our own. Hence, we want a better system where there will be a channel for people in such situations to be catered for. You go, and the government will have a plan, a scheme for certain people, widows, people whose husband fell in the war, people, the veterans. There is a channel. There will be a channel for children. Here, children are giving how much every week? No matter how little it is, if it is worth 1,000 naira every week, it is something for the government or for the people to remember. And this is why we are here, fighting every principality. Having given up the things we value in life, that is the sacrifice, we dedicate and stay loyal to the objective of this very cause. And IPOB, under the leadership of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, is fighting a just cause. IPOB is fighting a great war. You know, there is a difference between the steps you take to achieve a goal and the goal achieved. When you achieve a goal, the goal will be seen. But not much of the steps taken to achieve that goal will be seen. People, the pain you go through, when you actually come to a place and you're there, no one actually want to know how you suffered. Sometimes your vehicle could stop on the way or something would happen, but you were there. So all the tribulations or trials you faced on that road to get to where you were supposed to be, nobody sees it. All everyone knows is that you're there. So I said to our brothers and sisters in Swindon yesterday that it is possible for us to sit today, the 23rd of July 2023, as IPOB members, because of the work IPOB leadership and other arms of the movement have done. These principalities and powers worked so hard to include IPOB in the World Terrorist Index. Do you know the painful steps taken by the IPOB leadership to avert that mayhem that would have befallen us? I got on today. Before I proceed, why do you think that after these years, these principalities and power quickly added IPOB to their so-called World Terrorist Index? Why do you think so? They are afraid. It is because they thought they would succeed with the bits, the tiny 5 naira rubbish the infiltrators are doing. They commit here and there, and they think, oh, that's enough. Let's hang them. Let's place them on that World Terrorist Index. When you saw that IPOB had been added to the World Terrorist Index, world, not wall. Sometimes when you say world, you might think now I say wall or a holo. It's not a holo. It is owa. proper world, when you saw that this happened, how many people countered it? I nearly had a heart attack. I said, did you see the infiltrators kick against it? Did you see anybody come and join the IPOB leadership to say, no, we are not a terrorist organization. We are freedom fighters. We are seeking for the independence of our people via referendum. How many of them wrote? They stayed back and they watched, waiting for IPOB to collapse. IPOB went into war, understanding the principalities and power on beast mode. If you notice, I don't say powers, at least not yet. I am not using the word powers. I'm using just power. When I say principalities and power, I use power because I mean Britain. Britain, England, UK, and I'm coming to that. The principalities are the Nigerian government and all the infiltrators. You must also know that these infiltrators, they have different factions. They might be principalities anyway, different factions of principalities. Anyway, they level by level. There is a faction of the ones you call the automated minions. You have the faction of the slimy ones who are unhappy for one reason or another. The faction of the faceless that hide behind masks, which also incorporates fallen angels from the inception of this movement. I see you all. And then there's the faction of the one Nigerianists. This is what IPOB is fighting. These are the principalities that IPOB leadership is fighting. If IPOB did not switch on her own beast mode and counter these principalities and power, every one of us would not be here today. All the sacrifice and dedication poured into this movement would have been for nothing. That would have been the end. That is when you would have known that these powers in the high places actually know everything about IPOB. If you notice, I use powers. And by that, I mean the EU, the AU, the United Nations, the British monarch, and the United States, and their arms of poison, which they call media, which they use to brand and spread lies. They come, they sow a seed of discord, and they use the one nearest to you, and they poison their heart, and they push them to come after you, and you fight, you go into war. This is exactly what you see with Russia and Ukraine. They're coming from Ukraine, pushing Ukraine. That is what you see going on today. That is what they do. And then they spread their lies all over the place. They went as far as restricting my movement as Nnamdi Kanu's wife to some countries. I've had to call some of the countries. Why am I being restricted? Some say you need to tell us what year how long you've been married to Nnamdi Kanu. My movement to some certain countries have been restricted. But how would you know that? You wouldn't. But I thought I should mention that here today. In fact, I dug into my archive last night and found a couple of correspondences I had with a renowned professor and human rights lawyer in the Netherlands regarding representing my husband in Europe and all the steps taken to bring Nigeria to ICC in 2015 and 2016. I have absolutely forgotten that I was involved in that very, very movement. That was the first time IPOB took Nigeria to ICC. Have you heard anything else since then? And we've been taking them since then. Have they said anything? Nothing. They have said nothing. Currently, they behave as though they are oblivious of our existence. Regardless what we say, do, I have correspondences from MPs. My MP, our MP, is the same thing. It is the same thing. The foreign secretary, the case handler of my husband, he says the same thing. They say the same thing. Our Connie system. Are you okay? As if they have a solution for you. They have none. Oh, there is nothing much we can do. This is the way we can go about it. But IPOB is not letting them sleep. And I want to thank the UK chapter. You keep doing your work. One day, in fact, it's already yielding. It's yielding fruits. So currently they behave as if we are oblivious, or they are oblivious of our existence. We don't exist. They know nothing about it. They pretend that they don't see anything. They see everything we do. But as Mazen Nnamdi Kanu said, if we do not do what we are doing today, if we do not do what we are doing now, they will say we rushed into war. That is why we are taking this long step, known by law. As you can see, we are in court with them and we are winning. Buhari, when asked, said, yes, there could be political resolution or whatever, but the law has to take its course. And then Nnamdi Kanu has to come to court. Nnamdi Kanu came to court, and then Nnamdi Kanu has been winning since then. So, the answer is Britain. The answer is Britain. Had IPOB been banded in the same sphere as Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Boko Haram, and the rest of them, you will be shocked by how much they know about us. That is when CNN will sneak out from their invisible radar to spew absolute hoax. That is when Sky News will remember to carry our news, and heavens be damned if they forget to tag the leader of the group. Which is their plan. That is what they want to do. Get the infiltrators, let them commit mayhem and unleash terror on our people, and then they say, yeah, these people are terrorists, and that is why their leader is where he is. They want to extinguish us from the face of the earth. They want to obliterate us. Bunch of evil, twisted living beings. That is how they work. A little bit pointer on how they work. They will send the infiltrators, then they sit on the fence and look in the trees and pretend like, okay, what is going on in that place? We don't actually know. But they are the instigators, they are the provocateurs of the very event going on. Then click. They will use their media and nap you in the corner and give you a brand new name. I remember during my master's degree program, I had lots of Libyans in my department. They were all under the care of the Gaddafi government. They were all under the scholarship of the government. They were well taken care of by the government. And some of them really, I had one. She was working in the disaster recovery department, and we had a conversation. And she told me why she was sent to come and get a course, and so she can specialize in disaster recovery in Libya, in anticipation for natural disasters like earthquakes and the rest of them. And she told me good things about our government, because we know how we know how the government was infiltrated, and what was on the news was that he was shot by a young boy who was a member of a rebel group. Really? And the people was very happy that he died. When a lot of people I had in my department were sad. They were heartbroken. And eventually some of them stopped coming because there was no government to sponsor their education anymore. But I trust IPOB media, who understand the way they operate and will always win wars against all these media outlets. Nnamdi Kanu prepared his media arms, and they understand the way these powers and principalities work. And they always win. I also recall the interview I had in 2021. That was in July. I can't pick the date right now in my head. By the Times UK, after my husband was renditioned. The title of the interview was "Wife of Biafran Rebel Leader Takes Cover in North England." That was very displeasing to me because I know my husband is the protagonist of IPOB and not a rebel. And the only character they could liken him to was Robin Hood. Jokers! Robin Hood. You liken Nnamdi Kanu to Robin Hood of Nottingham. Take another rebranding pattern by these powers. When you hear of Benin massacre, what do you think happened? I want to try and not take too much of our time. Britain will disrespect and disregard you with impunity and hope that you show no reaction whatsoever. They rebrand their act of provocation upon the Benin Kingdom and rebranded it as Benin Massacre. I think we all know the story, and that probably will be for another day. Another way of getting to you is by getting those very close to you. If I recall the Ndongan king, how the Portuguese hired some Imbangalans. Imbangalas, they call Imbangalas. They were the tribe, the warrior tribe of Ndongo. Ndongo is now we call it Angola. So the Portuguese, during the slave trade, kept taking and taking. They like to take. They like to take, sit on you. You must not move around. If you move around, then there's a problem. Is the audacity for me. So they hired some Impangalas as mercenaries, and the new threat, that very threat, forced the Ndongan king to give up any attempts to reconquer his lost territories of Ndongo. This is just to point to you how they operate. They will use the person within or near your territory to try to subjugate you. Now, talk about the Aburi Accord. I will try to round up in the next few minutes as people's attention span starts to diminish after 30 minutes, and some people don't remember most of the things you say after 30 minutes. I've picked that up at some point. Our eternal father, Ojukwu, and the three other head of states toasted to their reconciliation and agreement with champagne. I'm just using the final the summary. They toasted to their agreement with champagne. Remember, they all had to travel to Aburi, and that is in Ghana, due to the tension that brewed after the counter coup. Just that meeting, only attending that meeting meant a lot. It meant that every party present in that very meeting, wanted a solution to the imminent tension. Ojukwu meant business as he went with a strong team of legal, political, economic advisors, secretaries, and realms of papers. Because he knew he meant business. So, and I also believe that the leaders who attended that meeting also understood what they were there for. And they toasted to their agreement. Now, not only did the other leaders agree with Ojukwu that the regions and peoples of the nation first draw apart, which is free federalism. He practices but they also agreed to Ojukwu's point that whoever was at the top would only be a titular head. So the person sits as a titular head, but the person will only act when all the 4 regions have met and taken a unanimous decision. Now, why do you think that they stayed 2 days? They spent 2 days deliberating in meetings, and after reaching an agreement, someone decides to break it. How do you think that happened? That would cause the dissolution of Nigeria. That will bring apart. How can you love Nigeria more than your own country? So how did that come about? That was Britain. That was when principalities and powers whispered to go on. They whispered to go on. And that was how the Abuja Accord failed. Britain, being the power, came in and disorganized the agreement using their principalities who were within. You know the rest. And since then, any strong voice from the Biafra region that speaks for the betterment and freedom of the people must face these principalities created by Nigeria and Britain. We had such principality in 2015, where a principality stationed his devilish friend, who put his political ambition above my husband's health and life, under the guise of representing my husband on pro bono. The full details of what happened is narrated. I narrated that in my book. You might be wondering, what book? What is this book is she talking about? Yes. When I visited my husband in the DSS, and we talked about everything I am doing has come to a halt, which is my work, my businesses, and my charity organization, and the difficulties myself, his sons, are going through as a family in his absence. The difficulties the little one has to deal with in school because of his father's absence. My social life, because as a wife of a freedom fighter, I will not go to just anywhere. I will not speak to just anyone because there are enemies unknown. Those of you on the social media, have you seen the insults and lies going on social media about me? I'm not on social media, but I do get told. I have relatives on social media. But it doesn't bother me. I see those people as people who are below the belly of the snake. And that means the lowest of the lows. So when someone is below the belly of the snake, the person is lower, is the lowest of the lows, lower than them all. Because 100% of these people know nothing about me, and 97% of them have never set their eyes on me. So when you indulge in talking about someone you know nothing about, and insulting that person who did nothing to you, you are a donkey. Donkey. My father was saying, no, what is and to be honest with you, that does not bother me because I don't do dirt. And as my husband most times will say, I know you don't like that. I know you don't like that. It will done that to me. He knows I can't bother because the frequency that I operate in is far above your limit. So I really won't blame you if you look at me and you think, oh my God, I don't believe there's such person in this world. Let me drag her into the gutter where you and your fellow pigs are playing with delight. But believe you me, I won't get in there with you because I don't do dirt. I don't do dirt. Another lie that I need to debunk here is that our little son won the sum of $500,000, the sum of $500,000. I saw a particular in fact, it was my husband's uncle. The wife sent it to me. His uncle's wife sent it to me, and I said, "See, I've seen this." Said this one is different. This one is different. And this one has $500,000. The other one was $5,000, and this has that became the picture. I'm like, are you serious? So I listened and I still ignored it. Anyway, I don't have time. I've been very ill. I got a few phone calls, which I had to explain, telling these people that the news is a hoax. Is a hoax. It's not true. It is not true. Our latest one did not win any $500,000. It's not true. People who are not social media were talking about it, and the wicked thing about this lie is that was the time the financial burden of my medical treatment became very critical. A few people asked me during the 30th of May, and I was surprised. I'm like, it's very serious. I don't take it seriously, but people are really asking. So it means some people believe that Nnamdi Kanu's son won $500,000. That is a hoax from the pit of hell. I don't know where that came from, but that was propagated to hinder, I believe, to hinder me from getting any financial help or anywhere. I don't know what the reason is, but I'm trying to put one and two together. I don't get it. These are some of the principalities that I deal with as a wife of a freedom fighter. This is the principality that I deal with as a wife of the camp. The sacrifices that I have made and still making. So in all these, my husband suggested to me, and he said, I mean, when we were talking about the difficulties we're facing at family, he suggested to me, you've always wanted to write a book. Why don't you write a book? And I said, okay. And I started. This book is an X-ray of my life. It is an X-ray of my life as the wife of a freedom fighter. True life story. From the very first day Nnamdi Kanu set his eyes on me till date. It is a book with names, locations, evidences, and details of all the events that occurred around me as the wife of the freedom of Nnamdi Kanu, the freedom fighter. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Biafrans. The book is on 80% completion, and I promise you, it will be a bomb. So strap your seatbelt and wait for that book. So many things that you do not know about and will never know will be made known to you in that book. Wait for it. Sorry, I had to digress. I had to just digress to that very point anyway. So going back to the principalities of 2015, where a supposed counsel who was supposed to defend my husband was rather using my husband to lash out and climb his political ladder. I had to take the bull by the horn. I nearly lost my son then. I was going into 8 months. That was the last trimester. Because of the stress. Because of the pain I went through then. I would vomit every day from the day I conceived till the day I put to bed. I would vomit every day. I will lie down on the floor for at least 1 hour. I will be unconscious. Every morning, I will be unconscious. And after an hour or so, sometimes 45 minutes, I will regain consciousness, and then I will stand up and start to fight for my husband. I had to take the bull by the horn, and that was what gave birth to Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor you see today. And you all saw what he did then and what he is still doing. I mean, what I brought him in then for, he did. So my husband, our leader, Nnamdi Kanu, left him and loved what he did and worked with him and continued to work with him and gave him a different contract, I think. And both of them have been working together since then. I just did my job then, to make sure that my husband stayed alive. Because this very person, I have this narrated in my book, this very person, this very council would sit in front of the, the media, without having done any work. Every work, every filing done in the magistrate court was done by my father. And because some of us don't talk doesn't mean that, in fact, when people don't actually tell their own part of the story, you should be afraid. Because in Maika has Ikwado. Let me not dip in too much into that. I want to encourage every one of us, the principal officers, the leadership, and the Biafrans at large, do not be discouraged whenever you are faced with these principalities, because they will always attack you whenever you're doing the right thing or in the right direction of this movement. Nobody knows that I have been very sick, very, very sick. Even though the leadership are aware, but none of you know that I've been very sick. Nobody knows. And I have been undergoing some surgeries. And currently, I'm still on treatment, regardless. Regardless my state of health, I had to arrange for doctors from my sickbed for my husband. And I'm glad to tell Biafrans that his medical investigations have begun. And I'm sure you already know that. At this point, I have to appreciate my PA, Chioma. She has been more than a PA to me. She's been a sister to me. When no relation, no sister, no brother, no friend, no husband was to see me through this life-threatening surgery. She was there for me. She had to come. Because according to the medical law, I cannot undergo that important procedure because I need an adult. there must be an adult with me. So by the time I returned to the land of living, this happened on the 4th. By the time I returned to the land of the living, she had already collected my little boy from school. In fact, I had some medical procedures that I had to go back on my feet. Some medical procedures that I had before that very one I had on the 4th. I had to go, but no one to take me home, no one to pick and I became from school. I have to get up and walk slowly from the very procedure to his school to pick him up from school. And I will be walking slowly. You imagine all eyes on me, and everyone will be wondering, why is she walking that slowly? The penultimate surgery, which is the second to the last surgery I had, was on the 22nd of June, 2023. The medical procedure failed. In fact, after some trials, it failed. And I was in severe pains. But whilst I was on the recovery bed, I was watching the appeal court proceedings in the UK. The appeal court proceedings for my husband in the UK. I was on the failed surgery recovery bed, and I was watching it. So this time around, because no one can come, nobody, Chioma had to come for the last surgery as they refused me being alone. This happened 4 days before the Finland rally. And as duty called, I had to obey. I had to obey the voice of IPOB and disobey the voice of my medical doctor who told me, do not speak on top of your voice. You're still very faint. You need to, don't do anything, don't walk, don't drive, don't do this, don't sit down for long, do not do any strenuous movement. But guess what? The day after the surgery, I am left with no choice than to take my little one to school, still in pains after Chioma had left. I had to drive. I was told don't drive, but I had to. Who would? Don't walk too. I had to, because nobody would do it for me. Chioma, I want to thank you. I can't thank you enough. But please, you need to activate my social media handles. In fact, as we speak, I need you to begin to activate my social media handles. We are going back to social media. So ask yourself, when you cast aspersions and insult the movement and the leadership, what sacrifice are you making? Every one of us has one thing or another that we're sacrificing. But when you cast aspersions, what sacrifice are you making? Ask yourself that question. Probably your data and your returns from your paymasters, and you use your data to call names. Those name callings, they mean nothing. I call them ad hominems. You have ad hominem, you have ad hominem fallacy. And when you are in that mode, your frontal lobe is dormant, doesn't work. And because you're pugnacious, impetuous, and impertinent, your actions and behavior depicts insanity, like you can't reason, you running around like Once again, I want to appreciate all Biafrans all over the world. The principal officers, the leadership, and Umuakwukwanyi. Speaking of Umuakwukwanyi, please, DOS and Biafrans back home, I have a worry that we are accepting the fact that our children cannot study history in school, can't learn anything, don't know anything about our history. Let us all rise up to make sure that Igbo language and the history studies are being taught in schools. our petitions or whatever. Let's start to write. Because if you put your ears to the ground, you will notice that Africa is beginning to raise her voice. Africa is rising. There is a sound of revolutionary union for Africa by Pan-Africanists. And we know that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is a Pan-Africanist. And we must be among the protagonists of this new song. I, for one, I am a lover of sound mind and of sound reasoning. So our children must be trained in that line to stand against principalities and powers in the future, to reason rationally and not emotionally. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. It's a pleasure. I really appreciate you all, and I thank you for this very honor. May Chukwu Okike Abiama, onye nke pụrụ ime ihe niile, bless and protect you all. Ise, Ise, Ise. This is Radio Biafra, and this is where we worship. From me, from here, it is good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Lolo Uchechi. All right. This is actually the voice of reason, Madam Lolo Uchechi Okwu Kanu, the wife of our leader. Of course, the long-awaited hour just happened, and you heard from her. She has been grappling with some illness. So many of you who sing the praises of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, all this while, you know exactly that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, even if you don't like the wife of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, have you ever asked about the offsprings of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu? Because so many of you, as you may put it, we love Nnamdi Kanu so much, we did this, we do that, but you don't ever ask, how is the immediate family of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu faring? Knowing that there is a lot of, challenges, knowing that it is not easy for a child to wake up, the father that he used to see, you don't see him no more, will be asking a lot of questions. Mommy, where is my father? Where is my father? It is always like that. Those of you who have children, you will bear me witness. And having seen that, those of you who are demonizing the name and actually trying to drag the name of this lady into a mud, calling her all sort of names just because you want to actually prove a point. Just like she said, of course, when we talk about principalities and power, it is power from high places, from Britain, from the US. Those are the principalities and power she talks about. And those principalities and power, it is what I call the Western agenda that is actually working in these infiltrators that you see all around you. It is the Western agenda. Because when you think about the activities of these infiltrators, starting from those who are aiding and abetting them, those who are supporting them from the United States, even some of the the Igbo World Congress, and some politicians in the United States, starting from them, all that is aiding and abetting these people, you will now tell yourself, where is these people deriving their energy from? Their energy is only coming from the principalities and power, the Western agenda. Each time I tell you about this, recently I've been telling you that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, that Britain knows well what transpired in Kenya against Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, knowing that people will take advantage of that to blame the structure of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. It is not the brain of Nigeria. It is not the brain of Nigeria. It is the brain of Britain. And it was funded by some Igbo governors. That is exactly how it is. And they made sure. That's why they actually kidnapped Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. After the Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's rendition, you find Uhuru Kenyatta traveling to Britain. You find Buhari traveling to Britain. Both of them were in Britain, where they said, the discussion of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu becomes the big elephant in the room. So I want you to know that the principalities and powers is the one that is actually driving these infiltrators. Their plans was to kidnap Mazen Nnamdi Kanu silently, so that IPOB, because we have Eastern Security Network, they believe it is only that. And because, inception of Eastern Security Network, everybody was emotional about it, everybody was happy, and they believe that, immediately when they take away Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, Biafra land and the Eastern Security Network will come out to go for his rescue, so that they will kill him and they will call us terrorist organization. That is when they failed. They saw that we are not going through that direction which they had projected. They decided, remember that upon the projection, they were planning, once we go through that route, we will call them a terrorist. That's why they prepared our name and placed it in the Global Terrorist Index. While at it, and they made sure that they sponsored these infiltrators that is championed by the agent provocateur in Finland, that is being sponsored by these politicians in the USA. Some of them are Igbo World Congress. Those are the people who are sponsoring this this criminal in Finland, because you will ask yourself, where are they getting money, which they are using to abate all those criminals they are using to, intimidate our people in Biafra land. It is from these politicians. Because if you look at those who are supporting these people, the only people that are supporting these people, let me tell you, it is those who are actually uninformed about what is going on within Biafra struggle. Those uninformed people, those are the people who knows what Nigeria have done to them. Then anybody who is shouting that they will deal with Nigeria, when they say they will do this, they will do that, they will say, no, it is affecting Nigeria, it is fine. Anything that somebody is going to do to affect Nigeria, emotionally they will join force with it without knowing who is actually bringing out this energy. That has been the problem of our people. And that is exactly what we have actually, seated up to fight against, to make sure it does not come here to stay, because we know our people are actually emotional, our people are gullible, our people are actually, they don't understand what it takes to win a war like the one Britain and the Fulanese is waging against us. It is not a war of gun and bullet. It is not a war of gun and bullet. Rather, it is a war of, it is not a war of gun and bullet. It is a war of diplomacy. That is what war it is, a war of diplomacy. And that is the reason why they had to bring up somebody who is going to be aiding them in bringing it, to make it as if it is a war of gun and bullet, so that they will come into our land, they will desecrate our land, they will destroy our land, and they will say it is as a result of the Eastern Security Network they have created. But we know, and that is the reason why we are actually focusing and fighting this criminal that is aided and abetted by Britain. Why do you think that whatever you call upon, they will not be, nothing change? Some people don't understand what is familiar spirit. You don't understand what is household enemy. You don't understand what is, double agent. If you can understand the activities of double agent, you will know that what the infiltrators are doing, it is a work of a double agent. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu made it clear, we cannot intimidate our people. We cannot actually fight against any of our people, those who are market women, market, men, banks. You cannot intimidate these people. Those who, each and every time they want to activate their criminality, they continue to tell you there will be total lockdown, there will be this and that, without you ever asking them, or without ever asking themselves, what if somebody falls sick? Did they make a provision for a hospital to be available for them to go? Knowing the situation of Nigeria is already dealing with the people, our people who are on the ground, then somebody is actually exacerbating the problem against them. Of course, I know that our people are becoming wiser now. Our people are becoming more resolute, and they kick back against anything that these criminals activities led by Britain is throwing at them. Double agency is what, factionalism. It is the same faction that destroyed NSAS 2020. That is exactly what you see here. They will be acting like they are actually ending SARS or standing in a queue for ending SARS while they are destructive. If people are reasonable, if people are wise, you will look at NSAS 2020 and you will look at the activities of this urgent provocateur. You will understand that it is those hoodlums that was dropped by government vehicles, and those government vehicle, because it has no number plate, it is actually not a marked government vehicle. It can do whatever it wants. They drop off those hoodlums. Those hoodlums, gathered as if they are with the march against SARS. Now they started being destructive, burning BRT buses or what. They started burning everywhere, messing everything up, which is exactly what gave them the open door to bring military to come and kill you. Because they have to actually stir up, people that will bring justification towards their heinous crime that they will be committing against you in advance. That's what they do. And that is the same reason why we continue to tell you, it is not about anybody who say my father that will make it to heaven. That is the reason why there is a parable of Christ that says, Peter I know, Paul I know, who are you? We have used your name to cast out demons. You have healed in the name of Christ. We have used your name to preach the gospel. He said, get Satan, get him behind me, because I don't know you. Because Christ could see they that is in them, not what they are actually doing. You are not able to see they that are in these infiltrators. You are only seeing what they are doing, because it is all about, we want anything that will hurt the zoo. The zoo have, dealt with you. I agree with you 100% that the zoo has dealt with you. They have dealt with you. That's why people are dying in Mediterranean Sea. That's why people are dying in Sahara Desert. Just to cross to Europe. It is as a result of the way the Nigeria have dealt with you. I don't blame you, you wanting and longing for anybody who will bring doom upon this Nigeria that has been dealing with you. I don't blame you. I understand you thoroughly, but my people perish for lack of knowledge. Because the knowledge, you have rejected knowledge, I will reject thee. Hosea 3 verse 6 to 8. Because ye have rejected knowledge, the same knowledge that our Lolo came to impact in you, the same knowledge that she came to share with you. So many of you might reject it out of your ignorance. He will reject thee. Because if you die of ignorance, you will be judged in ignorance. If you die of the truth, you will judge according to the truth. And you people are actually aiding and abetting the Western agenda against our people. Factionalism. We come here, we teach about it, we preach about it, we tell you that the only force they will always use to destroy whatever that has been established, to fight against imperial power, to fight against neo-colonial power or their agendas, it is factionalism. And that is exactly what they have implemented in the name that they are fighting. They are trying to release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu without you knowing. They are doing what they are doing to continue to remind you that this could be, to continue to actually provoke that this could be what Mazen Nnamdi Kanu will be doing if he is released tomorrow. It is the same thing that they are actually trying to put out there. So that tomorrow, if you talk against these criminals, they will tell you Mazen Nnamdi Kanu did the same. That is their primary agenda. But the most important thing they don't know is that everything that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu did, he did it within the ambit of the law. That is one cardinal thing that is different from the activities of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB. Whatever we are doing today, we do it within the ambit of the law. In every nation that we are domiciled. It is not because we are getting favor of Britain. It is not because Britain did this favor because, they have something. Of course, they could easily tell the Finland government, ignore these people. Ignore these people. It is... don't worry about them. Don't, protect that criminal that is in your land. Protect him. We will tell you when to dump him. We will tell you when to dump him. But for now, protect him. We are using him to achieve some goals. This is a Western country. This is a NATO country. Finland has joined NATO. So it is important for you to know the game that is being played against us. They wanted us to fire the first bullet. They wanted us to go wacko. That's why they kidnapped Mazen Nnamdi Kanu and told some certain people to keep quiet for 8 days. And the quietness of these people, just like Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's sibling, the quietness of these people, it is actually to provoke unprepared chaos in Biafra land. Because they believe that when this chaos is going to come, we start it in Biafra land. But little did they know that had it been, we decided that no, we cannot take it. It was going to go all over Nigeria. It is not going to be in Biafra land because it is Nigeria that is holding us. It is not Biafra land that is holding us. That is something they do not know. They wanted us just to fire the first bullet. They will say this is the aggressor. They will be aiding and abetting Nigeria just like the way they are aiding and abetting Ukraine. That is the way it is. Little did they know that we don't work with emotion, we work rationally. We are not an emotional set of people. We are rational in every decision that we have taken and we continue to take. That's why they wanted to actually hide it away from everybody in the IPOB leadership. The administrative structure called the DOS. They hid it away from them so that everybody will undermine the integrity of the DOS. That's why somebody tell you that he is in the mountain praying. He is in the mountain praying. while he actually knew that this man is in trouble. They tell you he is in the mountain praying, so that they will undermine the leadership structure, to say that they have no integrity, that they sold Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. That's why nobody knows where he was. But the person who's supposed to tell the leadership lied to the leadership, just because the plan was to truncate the structure that will keep this movement going in the absence of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, so that they will come and say he liked to talk too much, he liked to brag, because he told them, not in a trillion years, this IPOB you can never destroy. That's exactly what actually pushed these people to go through this, extent they have went. They know that within Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, everything he did it within the ambit of the USA law, ambit of the Western law, ambit of the law of United Nations, that they cannot hold him in Britain. They now monitored him to make sure that when he went to Kenya, they lured him to Kenya in the name of lobbying, in the name of trying to have a roundtable solution and planning on the way forward on how to engage Nigeria. They lured him there, and they told Nigeria he is there now. Send your troops. That's why Britain is acting like they don't know what to do. Do you think, even if you are Britain, do you think you will keep quiet? Do you think you will keep... You cannot keep quiet, because Britain is using us to build Britain. Britain is using the resources that is coming out of your land to expand their economics, growth, and stability. That is what they do. Do you think you will not remove everything and anything that will actually, or anybody that is going to stand to open the eyes of Nigerians, that will make them to move away from this symbiotic relationship they have with Britain? Do you think they will watch anybody actually open the eyes of their subject? That's exactly what they did, and they formed Infiltrator as a double agent. They will be preaching Biafra. We will get Biafra. We will disintegrate Nigeria. All Britain is looking for is that violence that is there in. Using the name of Nnamdi Kanu, I want Nnamdi Kanu released, but inside the Umuwanyi na-ele okro tomato. You want Nnamdi Kanu released, but Umuwanyi na-ele okro tomato. Is she the one holding Nnamdi Kanu? These are the things. Continue to destroy your land, because your people will know them. Britain will tell them, once they continue to do this, these people will know them. They will start giving up. These are money mongers. These are the people who, if you take away their means of livelihood, they will denounce anything that you are actually promoting. That's why they will say, continue to do it. You will find out these people, they will start speaking against Nnamdi Kanu one day. Once you start making their life miserable, once you start making their source of income, once you start destroying their means of livelihood, they will start denouncing Biafra. They will start denouncing Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. That is exactly what these enemies actually did. But it never worked for them. That's why they get frustrated. They bring out criminals. In the name, they will call them Eastern Security Network. And that is an act of sabotage. Because now, they will say the name of IPOB. In the Western world, you can never use the name of organization to raise fund. Organization that you are not a member of, you can never use their name to raise fund. But it is done by these infiltrators who did any law actually indicted them? No. It is a theft under false pretense. It is against the law. So at the end of the day, you find out that these things are standing. You are wondering what is making it stand, because of the principalities and power coming from the high places. Where is these high places? Britain and the United States. Those pair knows exactly what you are grappling with in Biafra land. They know exactly what we are grappling with, the insecurity in Biafra land. They know we are resolute. They know we cannot be moved. That we are actually formidably strong, and we know what we are doing. We don't work with our emotions, rather we work rationally in order to achieve what we need to achieve. That is the reason why they have to come indirectly. They have to come in the guise of, no, we are fighting for the same thing. Nnamdi Kanu say to you, whatever you are going to do for Biafra to come, do it. That is their slogan. Because these people are a bunch of fools that does not know Ebe Mmiri na Alpha. They will not even know Ebe Oga Anokwusi. That is the problem. Once I am talking about the innocent people who are being carried away by the activities of this criminal syndicate. I am talking about those innocent people. Their slogan. And imagine Nnamdi Kanu say, anything you will do for Biafra to come, you do it. It is the slogan of these fools who are actually promoting the activities of these infiltrators. But I am here to tell you that these infiltrators, they will never take you anywhere. Rather, they will actually be destroying what you are doing. Like I say to you now, whenever you want to picture the activities of these infiltrators, picture the NSAS 2020. Those people who were dropped off by the government, they were there acting like they are also protesting for SARS to end. While they are burning BRT buses in Lagos, they started destroying places. They started messing up everywhere. They started killing people. They are those who destroyed the NSAS protest. And they think that the IPOB is like one Nigerianist who embarked on that NSAS protest. IPOB, we know that is the reason why we cannot be moved. If you like, drop off every criminal. If you like, create a new infiltrator. If you like, turn anybody that is within this movement against, turn them, we will stand them, because we were, spiritually and, naturally ordained for this struggle, and we understand the arrows of the enemies, and we understand what type of arrow which enemy is going to throw at us, and we know how to respond to it. Just like our Lolo said that BBC and all these people, you will not hear them speaking today. Had it been the enemy agent provocateur, they actually succeeded in criminalizing the movement and calling IPOB a terrorist. You will hear BBC, Al Jazeera, all of them. You will see them start talking about IPOB. You will see them start talking about the criminalization of they will start talking about criminalization of IPOB and Biafra movement. They will start telling you the history. But they have failed. And we have won. That's why they will continue to use people in the likes of Asari as a grand soldier to continue to kill our people, to continue to undermine the integrity of Igbo land, to continue to truncate everything an Igbo person is doing, and they continue to blackmail the Igbo Biafrans. Even though the ignorant, human in the lives of Asari, he is so ignorant. He is supposed to be an Igbo man. Every time he come on the media space, he will be telling you history. Kalabari this one, and then Kalabari this one, without actually understanding that he is actually the biggest fool. As big as he is as full as that. He is supposed to be an Igbo man. And as if he is really an Igbo blood, of course we know that they were aided and abetted by some Islamic people just for them to see how they will bring Islamic conquest towards this region of Niger Delta and the South, so that some of them will forget where they come from. So it is very, very imperative for us to continue to remind our people that they don't love you in Nigeria, they will never love you. And everything you are doing, they will bring up somebody who is actually related